When I argued with my childhood friend, he lost his temper and slapped me across the face in front of everyone. That very day, I deleted all of his contact info. No one could believe it. I'd grown up with Noah Jackson, I'd liked him since I was little and had chased after him for a full 9 years. Why, Eva? Just because of that one slap? He asked, bewildered. Yes. Just because of one slap. I said it with absolute gravity. When Noah Jackson's palm cracked against my cheek, I didn't even register what had happened. With a dull smack, I staggered, my head rang. My left cheek went hot first, then burned as if on fire. I covered my face and stared at him, dazed. My childhood sweetheart, Noah, had slapped me in public while I was arguing with the new transfer student. Noah realized what he'd done. His expression froze for a beat, then anger and impatience washed over it. Can you stop stirring things up, Eva Garcia? Go back to your seat. Someone in class snickered under their breath, more people kept quiet, content to watch the show. Annie stood beside Noah, twirling her pretty chestnut curls and clicking her tongue. Wow, Noah, what are you doing? Can't you see your little princess is about to cry? Noah's voice turned icier. If you're going to cry, Eva Garcia, go do it at home. This is a school, not a place for you to have your princess tantrums whenever you feel like it. Shame, grievance, and fury tangled together, and fat tears burst from my eyes. Amid the boys' hoots and laughter, I bolted from the classroom. I didn't know where I was going, I just didn't want to attend class, and I certainly didn't want to face that room full of people. Noah had always had little patience for me, but he had never slapped me before. Not only that, this was the first time in my life anyone had ever hit me. Noah and I were childhood friends, we'd known each other since we were 3. His parents and mine had been close friends for over a decade, we lived on the same floor, doors across the hall. I had liked Noah since I was small. In elementary school, I was always bullied by the boys. One boy was the worst, he sat behind me and yanked my hair, stuck chewing gum on my chair, even put little firecrackers in my desk. I went to the teacher in tears, she scolded him, then turned around and smiled, saying he only did it because he liked me. I didn't believe it. The boy didn't change, either. I went home and told my parents again. They were furious and were about to march in to confront the teacher. Uncle Jackson happened to be visiting, heard what happened, called Noah over, and told him to protect me at school from then on. Noah and I were the same age, but we weren't in the same class then. The next day at recess, Noah came to my class and dragged that boy out for a beating. He'd always been tall and tough, he thrashed that boy and his friends until they were bawling. Before he left, he warned the other boys, if anyone dares bully Eva again, they'll answer to me. That was when I started liking him. From then on, I became his little shadow. I stuck to him, wherever he went, I followed. Noah didn't like me tagging along. He had a bit of macho pride and thought hanging out with a delicate girl like me all day wasn't manly. But I persisted, dogging his heels, calling him Brother Noah at every turn. A few years passed like that, and he slowly softened, he didn't reject me so much anymore. I began to notice his gaze lingering on me longer. When our eyes met, sometimes he'd space out, sometimes he'd jolt as if shocked, stammer, and look away, a flush rising in his cheeks. Uncle Jackson said that since the two kids were so close, why not make it a childhood betrothal? Noah didn't say anything, but he held my hand tight. I saw his ears turn red. My heart went sweet and light. I said loudly, okay. I want to marry Brother Noah. But once we started high school, everything began to change. At the end of the first semester, our class got a transfer student. Her name was Annie. Word was her parents had been relocated for work. She had excellent grades and a striking, pretty face. On her first day, she came in with a head of chestnut curls and said to the homeroom teacher with a bright smile, "Teacher, I was born like this, my hair is naturally light, and it's naturally curly." Then she turned to sweep her eyes over the class. When she landed on me, she stopped, stared for a few seconds, and suddenly burst out laughing. Oh my God, help, where did this Barbie princess come from? Ha 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 ha. Pink from head to toe? Girl, you're in high school, are you trying to act cute? This is so awkward. All eyes followed her gaze and landed on me. My face flushed scarlet on the spot. I loved pink. I really did. Almost everything I bought was pink, my backpack, my thermos, my hair clips, my t-shirts, my sweaters, my phone case, even my little charms had to be pink. Because of that, I'd been talked about plenty. In elementary school boys called me prissy and pampered, some girls said I was putting on an act. But most people were kind. More girls told me I was super cute and that pink suited me especially well. It was the first time I'd been mocked so bluntly, so brazenly, and in public. I was stunned and mortified, for a moment I wanted nothing more than to sink through the floor. Ha ha ha, sorry, I'm just a straight shooter. Don't be mad, little princess. Annie winked playfully. Enough. First day here, watch your mouth. Noah's impatient voice cut in. I turned to see him frowning at Annie, clearly displeased. Annie arched a brow and fixed him with a look. Oh? The princess's night has arrived? What are you even talking about? Are you sick? Noah blew up, slamming his desk as he stood. The teacher hurried to scold him back into his seat, then assigned Annie to the empty desk. By coincidence or not, the only free seat was the one in front of Noah. And just like that, they became desk mates, front and back. I don't know when Noah and she started getting close. All I know is that one day, out of the blue, the strawberry milk Uncle Jackson had told him to bring me every morning was swapped for plain milk. I hate plain milk. You know that, don't you? I stared at the carton, annoyed. Come on, you only like strawberry because the carton is pink. You're too old to be drinking strawberry milk every day. What does that look like? From now on, drink plain milk. It's healthier. Noah patted my head. Annie had a carton of plain milk in her hand too. Hearing that, she turned, and with a show of embarrassment, smiled. Sorry, little pink. I like plain milk, so I asked Noah to bring this. Besides, strawberry milk is so sweet, it's really cloying. Do all you girly girls like that stuff? I set the milk down and met her gaze with a frown. Do you enjoy giving people nicknames? She stiffened, then put on a face of surprise and helplessness. Wow, why so serious? I was just joking. You're a little too sensitive, aren't you? Whether I'm sensitive or you've got a guilty conscience, you know the answer. Enough, Eva. Noah cut in to stop us, rubbing his temples as if he had a headache. Annie does blurt things out sometimes. Don't take it to heart. I was furious, my eyes burning. I shoved Noah hard and still didn't forget to snap at Annie. If you don't know how to talk, then don't talk. Noah was startled. He hurriedly wrapped an arm around my waist and blurted, okay, my fault, don't be mad. I'll bring you strawberry tomorrow, all right? At that, Annie's face changed. She fixed me with a hard stare. Starting the very next day, Annie began targeting me. When I pulled out a packet of tissues in a pink wrapper, she shrieked, wow. Even your tissues have to be pink. Are you trying to package yourself as a Barbie doll? During the big classroom clean, I used a wet wipe to clean the broom handle. She traded winks with the boys. Princess syndrome incoming. Every other week, when we changed seats, I got tired carrying my desk and stopped to rest for a moment. Annie shouted across the room, the princess can't lift a finger. Come on, a few nights, hurry up and help her highness move. Whenever she did that, the boys who pawed around with her played along as if it were the funniest thing in the world, each grinning wider than the last. At first, Noah thought it was off and would tell her to knock it off. But Annie, all carefree bravado, said, it's just a joke. Eva always seems so uptight, I'm helping her fit in with everyone. Hearing that, Noah nodded as if considering it. Eva does have a bit of a princess complex. Are girls all like this now? Annie punched his shoulder. Hey, don't lump me in with anyone. I'm not like that. Noah chuckled. My chest went sour. I'd always known Noah thought I was delicate, temperamental. Maybe to most boys, liking pink, being a neat freak, and not being strong equals princess syndrome. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. That term, I went to the beach with my parents over summer break and got a lot darker. It had happened before, usually I'd be back to my usual color after a couple of weeks indoors, so I didn't think much of it. Not long after school started, I wore a pink blouse under my uniform. Annie saw it and pitched her voice high. Oh my God. Eva, you're this dark and you still wear that shade of pink? Don't you think it's ridiculous? I mean, I'm dying. What kind of princess are you supposed to be? What princess is this dark? You look more like a little black dog, ha. She and a few boys dissolved into laughter. Noah seemed to find it funny too, the corner of his mouth tipping up. In that moment, a tidal wave of bewilderment and shame swallowed me. I felt the blood rush to my head and my fist clench. Over their laughter, I snatched up my water cup and flung it into her face. Annie gaped, scrubbing frantically at the water dripping from her cheeks. She'd done her makeup, the splash had smeared it. Cough, what is wrong with you? Are you crazy? My God. I mimicked her tone. Coming to school every day with eyelid tape, foundation, and lipstick, no wonder you're no princess. Are you here to sell smiles? A little actress, that's what you are. A few boys stepped in to block me, Noah at the front, snatching the cup from my hand. Eva, apologize. He looked down at me from on high, brows knit, voice cold. My eyes were flaming red, I stared back without blinking. Didn't you hear what she called me? She said I looked like a dog. That's a separate issue. You already snapped back. Now you need to apologize for throwing water on her. If you did something wrong, own up to it. Be good. Stop with the little tantrums. He said it as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Apologize. Annie won't hold it against you. I let out a short, icy laugh. Apologize my ass. Noah's eyes went wide. He swung and slapped me hard across the face. I didn't go back to class that day, I went straight home. I burst into my room and tore the place apart, bookshelves, closet, storage bins, until everything was a mess. I grabbed a big cardboard box and dug out everything Noah had ever given me, from childhood to now, and dumped it all inside. It piled up to the brim. I double-checked that nothing was left. I hefted the box downstairs and tossed it all into the trash. When I'd finished, my parents weren't home yet. I called my mom. Hello, baby, what's wrong? Mom, when you get back, go tell Uncle Jackson and Aunt Jackson I'm cutting ties with Noah. Also. My voice went cold. From today on, Noah isn't allowed to set foot in our home. He can roll as far away as possible. When my mom got home, she was frantic and furious at the handprint on my face. I told her what had been happening. Her veins stood at her temples, she spun and went to pound on Noah's door. Aunt Jackson looked bewildered. My mother didn't waste a word, she laid everything out, start to finish. How Noah had slapped me, how he'd watched the transfer student bully me for weeks with her mouth, mocking me while doing nothing, and how he'd finally stepped in to shield her. Aunt Jackson's face went green, then white. Our families had gotten along for years, but today, because of me, a crack opened. My mother didn't blame me. She spoke gently. No one gets to bully our Eva. Whatever you decide, your dad and I are behind you. All the pent-up grievance and hurt burst loose. My nose stung, I threw my arms around her and cried. When Noah came home that night, he must have seen what I'd thrown out in the trash. He banged on our door, angry. Eva. Come out. We need to talk. I opened the door. Right away, there was Noah's face, cold as ice. Why did you throw away everything I gave you? What's it to you? I stared at him, my voice flat. The print from this morning's slap still marked my face. Noah hadn't held back, my cheek was swollen, the finger marks stark. Instead of fading, they'd only grown worse. Noah's expression shifted. He stared, dazed, at the bruise. After a long moment, he said blankly, how did it get this bad? He reached out to touch me. I stepped back, expressionless. I almost never got hurt. Whenever I bumped or scraped myself before, I'd tear up and run to Noah to complain and make him coax me. Truth was, I'm not afraid of pain, I'm pretty thick-skinned, sometimes I don't notice a scratch for days. I just wanted an excuse to act spoiled in front of the person I liked. Noah would call me delicate and pampered, but he clearly enjoyed being needed by me. Not anymore. Noah had never seen me this cold. For a second, he seemed unable to believe it. I didn't mean it, Eva. You said something that nasty and I just got mad. I cut him off. Since you're here, let's be clear. Starting today, we're strangers. From now on, use my full name. If you see me at school, don't talk to me. And don't ever knock on my door like this again. I moved to shut the door. Noah grabbed my hand, eyes locked on mine, his expression shifting from guilt to angry confusion. Is this necessary, Eva? If you're mad because I hit you, I'll apologize. Don't you think you're being extreme? Have you thought about what you'll do if you regret this later? I won't regret it. Why? He asked through gritted teeth. Just because I accidentally slapped you once? Yes. Because of that one slap. I said it with absolute gravity. Fine. If that's what you insist on, have it your way. Noah let out a short, furious laugh and slammed the door as he left. The next day, Noah and Annie announced to the whole class, in high spirits, that they were officially dating. I wasn't surprised. Looking back now, the signs had been there all along. When Annie first transferred in, her bright, breezy personality helped her click with the boys almost immediately. She hardly spent time with the girls. In her own words, I only like hanging out with boys. It's so much easier than being with girls, no one badmouths you behind your back. Girls are so calculating, always scheming, I just can't stand it. And those little girls are so delicate, say one wrong thing and they'll hold a grudge forever. I don't get along with them. It's just more comfortable with boys. Because of comments like that, the girls in our class didn't like her. Seeing this, Annie would purse her lips at the boys and sigh helplessly. I get it, I shouldn't have said they overthink everything. Now I've really offended them. Sigh, I'm sure their little cliques will freeze me out again. Whatever. I'm used to it. And just like that, she left us in a no-win position. She was the one who refused to befriend us and called us delicate and scheming. But the moment none of the girls paid her any attention, she accused us of ostracizing her and ganging up to exclude her. At home, I couldn't help complaining to my parents. Baby, I understand how you feel, my mom said. I've met people like that too. When you do, don't engage. Don't let her affect you, and certainly don't get close. Noah happened to be at my place and his handsome face chilled the moment he heard this. He's the type who rarely talks about others in private. He couldn't stand what we were doing. Uncle, Auntie, Eva, talking about someone behind their back isn't right. The three of us fell awkwardly silent. Later I learned that, at some point, he and Annie had already built a deep friendship. Annie's English was strong, and she sat in front of Noah. She often volunteered to tutor him, since his English was terrible. I used to do that. Within 2 weeks of her transfer, she had seamlessly taken over. Annie also played basketball and got along well with the boys, many of whom were Noah's closest friends, so they naturally grew close. Noah's impression of her changed as well, from the classmate who randomly mocked someone on her first day, to a warm, open, straightforward girl who just speaks bluntly. Noah, who'd always pushed back against being glued to girls, accepted Annie's presence in no time. In class, the two of them passed notes and burst into laughter as if no one else existed. After school, Annie sat beaming on the back of his bike while he and his buddies hooped and bantered down the street. I used to feel a stab of sadness over it, but I kept telling myself they were just friends. I thought Noah liked me. Turns out I was only flattering myself, blindly overconfident. "We're properly in love," Annie said, perched on Noah's lap, smiling sweetly. "Not like certain people who hide behind the label of childhood sweethearts and cling to someone for free." Then, with meaning in every word, she added, "Oh, and even though I know girls love to tattle, I still hope some classmates won't go reporting our relationship to the teachers. That's just so uncouth." Noah neither agreed nor disagreed. Some classmates offered their congratulations, others watched my face in secret. Everyone knew I'd grown up with Noah and that I liked him. He'd been the only boy I was close to, and I'd been the only girl close to him. My desk mate glanced at me, worried. I didn't even look up, I kept my eyes on my book. The air turned awkward for a beat. Noah snorted and yanked his gaze away from me. After that, their intimacy only deepened. Between classes, Annie took off a hair tie and looped it around Noah's wrist, playfully ordering him not to take it off. During lectures, they passed notes under the desk. Sometimes Noah would laugh out loud like no one was there. They ate lunch together. Annie would steal chicken nuggets from Noah's tray, and he would indulge her with a helpless smile. After school, she wrapped her arms tight around his waist on the back of his bike. They looked every bit the inseparable couple. 10 years is a long time. At first it stung, but I got used to it. Just when I thought our paths wouldn't cross again, Noah stopped me at the school gate after class. "Eva." His tone was low, his expression complicated, part anger, part relief. I couldn't read it. "Annie called in sick today," he said. I didn't see what that had to do with me. "What about it?" Seeing my confusion, Noah came right out with it. "What did you say to her?" I blinked, then answered plainly, "What could I possibly have said? I've never once gone out of my way to talk to her. I'm not much of a chatter by nature. And with someone like Annie, just looking at her grated on me. If she didn't pick a fight with me, I could go a whole year without speaking to her. What would I have to say?" Noah's eyes brimmed with doubt. He pressed on. "She was fine when I walked her home last night, but today she's out sick. I called to ask what happened. She just cried and said she felt sorry for you, that you shouldn't be mad anymore. Tell me the truth. What did you say to her? Did you hit her? Are you insane?" I had no desire to argue. I pushed past him to leave. He yanked me back hard by the wrist, eyes fixed on me like a predator pinning down prey. "Eva. I know you don't like that we're dating, but this is too much. Did you forget? You're the one who said we should act like strangers. Now you're jealous and—" He stopped, hesitated, then lowered his voice. "If you'll just apologize to me, we can pretend none of that happened. We'll be fine again." He sounded urgent, as if he couldn't wait for my answer. I cut him off, fed up. "What is wrong with you? Let go. Why would I apologize to you? I told you I didn't do anything. Date however you want, I'm thrilled for you. Have 10 kids right there on the spot. It has nothing to do with me. Now let go." Noah's face went dark as iron. He stared at me in disbelief, but his hand didn't budge. Just as I started to struggle, a hand came down on Noah's forearm. "Hey, man, this isn't how you treat a girl." I turned toward the voice. It was a boy in our school uniform, about our age. "Keith." The name slipped out. Keith was a senior at our school. We'd both represented the school at the provincial math competition once. We hadn't really spoken then, we weren't familiar. I remembered him because his face was impossible to forget. What was he doing here? Catching my puzzled look, Keith glanced my way and gave me a mischievous wink. Then he tightened his grip. A moment later, the color drained from Noah's face. I took the chance to wrench free and ran without looking back. On Wednesday in PE. I wasn't feeling great but didn't think much of it. At the teacher's whistle, I ran laps with the girls. We ran first, the boys waited on the sidelines. Halfway through, my vision went dark, pins and needles raced through my limbs. Only then did I realize my blood sugar had crashed. Too late. My foot faltered, and I dropped to my knees on the track. Gasps erupted around me. Footsteps pounded closer, a strong arm hooked under mine and lifted me. It was Noah. Your blood sugar again? Did you skip meals? He scolded. You're running like this in that state? Can you please take responsibility for your own body? Does it hurt? I'm taking you to the nurse. He kept murmuring in my ear. I was already irritated from the fall, and everyone's eyes made it worse. I yanked my arm, trying to pull free. Don't touch me. I can walk by myself. He growled, is this really the time to throw a tantrum? Care about your health for once. I'll just take you to the nurse and leave. Satisfied? I let out a humorless breath. Didn't quite catch that. Is low blood sugar some dire illness now? I can sit a minute and be fine. Am I dying, that you have to drag me to the infirmary? Noah ground his teeth. After a beat, he forced out, must you be this ungrateful? I looked at him steadily. If that's how you insist on seeing it, I can't help you. Noah flung my arm away and strode off without a backward glance. The infirmary was quiet, just one student sitting on a cot, Keith. When he saw me, his eyes lit up and he grinned. Hi, classmate Eva. Fancy seeing you here too? I gave him a perfunctory nod. Then I noticed he was hurt, much worse than my little spill. A thick bandage wrapped his knee, already blotched through with blood, the white gauze had turned red. Catching my glance, he looked down and scratched his head, sheepish. Oh, this. There's a patch of peeled-up turf on the field. I didn't see it and wiped out playing ball. Nothing big, just a flesh wound. You okay, though? I'd heard people say Keith was captain of the school basketball team and something of a campus name. That blood-soaked bandage made my teeth ache just looking at it, and I couldn't help softening toward him. I'm fine, just low blood sugar. You should rest, I said. Keith nodded vigorously. His smile was bright, you'd never guess he was badly hurt. Over the next few days, my low blood sugar plus my period, and Keith's injured knee, meant we both skipped the morning jog and kept running into each other in the infirmary. After a while, we got pretty familiar. Keith is the type who makes friends fast, sunny, gentle, great at reading a room. Being around him felt easy. One day he sat on the cot, looking a little embarrassed. Classmate Eva, I think our friendship could develop further. What do you think? I jumped and waved both hands. No. But he didn't give up. A week later, when neither of us needed the infirmary anymore, he started dropping by my class during the long mid-morning break, sometimes with candy, sometimes with the milk I like. Once he arrived, he'd plant himself in the seat near me and chatter on and on. Worse, the girls around me were always so enthusiastic about giving up their seats for him. Soon the rumor mill was roaring, the senior Keith and a junior girl from class 2 were dating. Everyone decided it was us. I denied it, but people just gave me that, I get it, look, say you don't want to admit it if you must, we all know. The girl behind me leaned forward to gossip. Hey, let me ask you something. Does Keith really have an 8-pack? I blinked. How would I know? Still, I answered honestly. I don't know. Oh, come on. Don't keep secrets from your sisters at a time like this. He never lifts his shirt to wipe sweat during games, no girl has ever seen his body. His manly virtue is full marks, you know. My desk mate poked me. Upperclassmen on his team say he has an 8-pack. You're his only girlfriend, so you must have seen it, right? Share. How is it? Does it look good? What does it feel like? I thought it over. Never lifts his shirt? That didn't sound right. I seemed to recall him always complaining the infirmary was hot, griping about the lack of AC, and tugging at his hem to wipe sweat. Thinking carefully, I probably had seen it. I drifted into thought and said without thinking, I think he does, but he's pretty lean. I haven't, felt. Ah, girl, you're eating so well, my back row neighbor shrieked before I could finish. Hey, hush. I only glanced a couple of times. Whatever eating well is, it's got nothing to do with me. I clapped a hand over her mouth. Just then a sharp clatter, cocklang, split the classroom. We all looked over. Noah had dropped his cup. His face had gone pale, it took him a long second to react before he slowly crouched to pick up the shards. As he gathered them, Annie gasped. Noah, your hand. Only then did I notice the cut along his finger, bright red blood was running down. He stared at his hand, dazed, lost in thought. Noah, I have tissues, come here, I'll wrap it, Annie said, reaching for him. Noah shook her off. Under everyone's eyes, he walked toward me. The cut was deep, but he moved as if he couldn't feel pain, blood dotting the floor with each step until he stopped in front of me. He looked at me and spoke softly. I'm hurt, Could I have a bandage? I looked at him in silence. I always carry bandages. Noah knows that. Because of him. When we were little, Noah often fought on my behalf. In grade school, boys yanked my braids, flipped my skirt, stuffed things in my bag and desk to scare me. In middle school, a boy I turned down got angry and, with his buddies, spread rumors that I was loose, that I took gifts from boys while stringing them along. Noah beat them down, one by one, until no one dared whisper about me again. Once, that same boy brought several friends to lie in wait. After school they tailed Noah and shoved him out through a hallway window. It was a floor-to-ceiling pain. He wasn't ready. He crashed through the glass and tumbled to the ground covered in shards. Thank heaven it was the first floor, he wasn't badly hurt. But both his forearms were laced with tiny cuts. When I found him, his uniform was soaked with blood. His face was twitching from the pain, but he gritted his teeth and told me it was fine, it didn't hurt. My eyes blurred with tears. All I could do was watch the blood seep from his wounds, useless. From that day on, I carried bandages everywhere. After that, no matter who bothered me, I handled it myself. I never told Noah again, afraid he'd get hurt because of me. Still, the habit stuck. Noah used to tease me for making a big deal out of nothing, but the smile in his eyes told me he liked it. Then Annie transferred in. She once saw bandages fall from my bag and told Noah that a girl our age using Hello Kitty bandages was so childish, that even when she's hurt she has to act cute. Noah laughed and nodded along. I pulled myself out of the memory and shook my head at Noah. I'm not giving you a bandage, I said. Not anymore. He didn't seem surprised. The color drained from his face. He let out a laugh that sounded like self-mockery. I understand. The light in his eyes went out all at once, like a star dropping from the sky. After school, Annie blocked me at the back door of the classroom. Let's talk. She wasn't smiling this time, her expression was grim. I was honestly tired of it. Why did they come at me one after another? Am I a prop in their little play? They can date, I can study. We've got no reason to intersect. Why does one stop me today and the other want to talk tomorrow? Annie stared at me for a long moment. Finally she said, I really don't understand what it is about you that keeps him thinking of you. I almost laughed. No need to beat around the bush. Say what you want to say. Her face tightened, she glared at me. You must be thrilled. Noah may be with me, but he still likes you. The minute he saw you dating some other guy, he practically fell into depression. He's barely spoken to me these days. I truly don't get it. What's so great about your precious princess syndrome? He only slapped you because he was worked up, by accident, and you cut him off. You felt he embarrassed you, right? So because your vain little pride got bruised, you can toss aside a childhood sweetheart you grew up with? You're the definition of selfish and petty. She rattled it all out in one breath, as if championing justice. I listened quietly and said, you don't need to probe. I'm not getting back together with him. She stiffened. I smiled. Sent by your boyfriend to test his childhood friend's heart, awkward, isn't it? But don't worry. When I say we're strangers for life. Eva, don't eat what I've thrown away. Go tell Noah the same thing I said before, get lost, farther the better. Her face twisted, part guilt and humiliation at being called out, part confusion. I walked away. Her voice floated after me, edged with unwillingness. Eva, just because of one slap? Just because he hit you that once? Yes, I answered. Just because of a slap. That night, an unfamiliar number called. Without thinking, I picked up. Eva. It was Noah, probably on a new SIM. Are you done? I said, and went to hang up. Wait, listen to me. I was silent. I read that diary. After a long pause, his voice came through hoarse. My mind went blank for a second, then snapped back. He could only mean my diary. I've only ever had one, a gift from Noah when I was 10. I treasured it and got into the habit of writing, year after year. That diary held years of my feelings. I recorded, in painstaking detail, every little moment between us, every moment I liked him. I even imagined that when we got married someday, I'd give it to him, my long confession. I threw it out, I said flatly. I picked it out of the trash that day. Noah's voice trembled. I'm sorry, Eva. I read it. I never realized you liked me that much. I'm sorry for ignoring it all this time. Honestly, the day I hit you I regretted it. All these years, you weren't just a sister to me. Noah. I cut him off. What day did you pick it back up? The voice on the other end cut off. It's been days, hasn't it? I laughed softly. Then why are you only calling me tonight to say all this? Is it because you only opened it today? His voice sounded drained and weak. It's because I've been dating lately, you felt threatened. You finally sensed your place was at risk. So after months of silence, you suddenly had the urge to humble yourself and open that dusty old diary. Isn't that it? Eva, no, that's not. I didn't listen to his explanation. My tone stayed even. Noah, you should know this, apologies and confessions that arrive late can't mend the past. They only make the last few memories feel ill-timed. That diary doesn't mean anything anymore. You should throw it away. Don't call me again. Don't look for me. It's exhausting. I hung up. My birthday was a week away. My parents planned a party and told me to invite classmates. I hadn't wanted to invite Noah and his crowd, but they'd been keeping their heads down lately. No need to stir things up. I handed out the invitations evenly. Keith shamelessly asked me for one, too. On the day itself, I dressed to the nines. Noah came in a suit, Annie on his arm with flawless makeup. When she saw me, she clutched Noah's arm tighter, plastering herself against him, seam to seam. Noah's face was expressionless. I didn't greet them, I went straight to the elders. It was a happy party, but tiring. Midway through, I slipped out to the terrace to catch some air. Footsteps approached behind me. As much as I hated to admit it, I'd know that tread anywhere after all these years. He stopped behind me, his voice was hoarse. Can we talk, Eva? I turned. Noah's eyes were bloodshot. Of course, I said blankly. Only, if possible, I'd like it to be the last time. He went pale and gave a crooked, self-mocking smile. Do we really have to be like this, Eva? No matter how I beg, you won't forgive me, will you? I looked away. I don't understand, he went on. Didn't you always like me? You know I like you, too. We were one step away from confessing, why are you doing this to me? At last he said it, admitting, for the first time, that he liked me too. But like this. Like this. Just because of that slap. As before, I didn't hesitate. I nodded. Yes. Because of a slap. I heard, I said. Noah hadn't hit me in some mindless outburst. I had heard. Before it happened, one day I'd watched him pedal Annie home, unease gnawing at me, and trailed them from a distance. He and a few of his buddies took her to a hot pot place. They ate and talked. Been with me since grade school, what do you call that? Childhood sweethearts. So she still likes you? Of course. In class she only talks to brother Noah. Chased you for 9 years and you still won't say yes? You don't like her? My chest tightened. Noah chuckled, casual. I like her, but I don't really want to date. She's too delicate. Too much trouble. A chorus of hoots. Boss move. Man, aren't you afraid she'll stop liking you if you string her along? No way. Girls like that cling once they fall. You can't shake em. Then Annie's lilting voice, yeah, I totally get girls like her. Pink everything, buys pink anything, all soft and clingy, always leaning on someone. No matter how Noah treats her, the second he's a little nice, she'll love him forever. Look, even with me this close to Noah, she still sidles up. I'd bet. Even if you slapped her in public, a quick apology and it'd be fine. For real? That brainless? Legendary. Brother Noah, try it. Slap her and she'll bawl on the spot. I held my breath. In the din of the restaurant, only Noah's voice rang crystal clear. Sure. I'll try. Noah trembled now, hands shaking. No, that's not it, Eva, listen, I only said that to save face. I didn't mean it, Don't deny it, I said quietly. It's pitiful, Noah. You're always preaching that talking about people behind their backs is wrong. Look at yourself. Are you any better? All color fled his face. I let out a long sigh. Strange, where I'd once been furious and heartsick, I now felt nothing, as if I were watching someone else's life. I know you like me. I also know you wavered. Didn't you? For a moment you thought Annie was great, you liked her enough to show off in front of her. That's normal, Noah. You like me because we grew up together, I'm pretty and I've loved you wholeheartedly, so of course you feel something. But in the end, we're not a fit. You think I'm pretty, but that doesn't stop you from labeling me a fragile princess. My love of pink equals little girl, to you, less presentable, not standing tall like you boys. So you'll always be drawn to girls like Annie. If not Annie, it would be the next one, the next different from other girls, equally pretty, breezy girl. Only, you shouldn't have stepped on me to perform for her. I let out a cold laugh. How did you dare hit me? Has anyone ever laid a hand on me? What are you, Noah? Tell me. Why did you think you could? His expression went gray and vacant. I'd named the secret, selfish urge he least wanted to face. He knew it. He had no strength to argue. I held his gaze. At last he stood there, stunned, and a single tear rolled down his cheek. Eva, don't you love me anymore? I never loved you. I didn't flinch. What? His lips went white. He stared, lost. I met his eyes and spoke plainly. I liked you. I liked you for years, since grade school. My feelings outgrew anything you did, because they lived inside my beautiful fantasy of you. They didn't need your response, they existed because I kept them alive. But not long ago, I let them go. Why? He sounded like a sleepwalker. Because every time I look at you, my cheek still aches. My face didn't change. And at last all color drained from his. Afterward, Noah and Annie broke up. I don't know why. Annie transferred out of our class soon after. Noah became someone else entirely. He cut off his old buddies and shadowed me instead, single-minded. Every morning he bought my favorite breakfast. At lunch he fetched the most popular dish. After school he followed a few careful steps behind, saying he'd walk me home to keep me safe. Like grade school again. No, worse. He was even more attentive than back then. When I asked what he was doing, he shook his head and looked at me with those sorrowful eyes. In the end he said he just wanted to make it up to me, to take good care of me. Honestly? You couldn't shoo him off, and you couldn't talk sense into him. It was exhausting. Just then my parents' company proposed sending them out of town, my mother's hometown, Seaside City. We decided I'd transfer before senior year and the whole family would move. I didn't tell anyone ahead of time. Over a weekend I messaged a few close classmates to say goodbye. Noah was the last to know. I don't know how he found out, but on the day we left he chased our car for a very, very long time. I sat in the passenger seat and watched in the rearview mirror. Watched him run himself ragged, hands stretched as if he were shouting something. Watched the tears tear his face apart, watched him go paper white. Don't go. Please don't go. I haven't. Eva. But the wind was too loud, it carried his last words away. That figure who'd accompanied me for so many years stumbled, rose, trembled, grew small. Smaller, until he was just a smudge. And then he was gone. Later I'd occasionally hear about Noah from old classmates. Some said he'd fallen apart and drifted. Others that he'd gone wild, cycling through girlfriends. Others still that he'd done a 180, head down, studying hard, as if he'd set his sights on a particular university. I didn't follow any of it. After the exams I got into a coastal university and ran toward my future, full of hope. By coincidence, Keith ended up at the same school and launched a full-court press the moment he saw me. During my first 2 college years, a mysterious package arrived every birthday, sometimes a handmade doll I'd mentioned once on social media, sometimes a dress I'd coveted but never bought. I accepted them all but never used them, stacking them in a dorm room corner. In junior year, I said yes to Keith. At his insistent request, I made it official on my moments. The annual gift stopped. That was good. They should have stopped long ago. This was the terminus. He was my first love, my longest dream. But that slap shattered everything. I learned to let go, not out of hate, but because I finally knew my worth. Some endings aren't tragic. They're necessary. And mine? It was the beginning of peace.